I've seen a few people commenting that they think I'm overdoing the curse words. Well, here's the deal, folks. I killed off that fucking character, and this is how I fucking talk. I use the word fuck as an adjective, an adverb, and a verb. So you better get fucking used to it, because we're gonna fucking say fuck every other fucking word.
Irrelevant news.
Lizzo reacted to getting hate after releasing her new song, Rumors.
It's like it doesn't matter how much positive energy you put into the world, you're still gonna have people who have something mean to say about you.
I've made this point way too many times by now, folks, but we should all know that the internet is a cesspool. I mean, if humanity were ever able to dig someone out of hell and ask them what it felt like being there for all eternity, they would probably say like a couple of hours on Twitter.
I just feel like I'm seeing negativity directed towards me in the most weirdest way.
It's what happens when you have a bunch of unsupervised 12-year-olds knowing that if they say something awful enough, they may just get their favorite artist to respond. I mean, have you seen the kinds of things the kids do? They'll literally burn ants alive and call it a fun hobby.
People saying shit about me that just doesn't even make sense. It's fatphobic, and it's racist, and it's hurtful.
The shield of anonymity, folks. Back in the day, some folks wore Klein hoods so they could get away with some of the awful shit they wanted to do. And nowadays, people know they just got to create a fake account and they can say whatever the hell they want with no consequences.
If you don't like my music, cool. If you don't like Rumors the song, cool. But a lot of people don't like me because of the way I look.
And honestly, fuck those people. Everybody loves Lizzo. I love Lizzo. And at one point, Lizzo didn't give a fuck about these losers. She's a bad bitch.
For the people who just always gonna have something negative to say about me that has nothing to do with music or the content of my character or me as an artist, and just has everything to do with my body or whatever trope you think I fall into, suck my pussy from behind.
There you go. Love it. I don't understand how somebody can hate somebody who's so positive, whose music just inspires so many people. It's so much fun to listen to her music. She's so freaking talented. But, you know, people are always going to find a reason to hate someone else. Usually, it's based on jealousy. So, you know, at the end of the day, you just got to shut it out. You got to ignore it. Fuck those people, right?
When you stand up for yourself, they claim you're problematic and sensitive. When you don't, they tear you apart until you're crying like this. Whether you're skinny, big, plastic, they always going to try to put their insecurities on you. Remember, these are nerds looking at the popular table.
Okay, I love what Cardi B is doing here, but I have to disagree on one thing. The people who are doing this are losers. They're not nerds, okay? The nerds are getting it too, trust me.
Rumors is doing great. Stop trying to say the song is flopping to dismiss a woman's emotions on bullying or acting like they need sympathy. The song is top 10 on all platforms. Body shaming and calling your mommy is mean, and our word is fuck.
Cardi wasn't the only one who supported Lizzo throughout this whole thing. In fact, Niall from One Direction said this.
You are the greatest.
And also sent Lizzo hearts. Bella Poarch also shared her thoughts on the situation.
Sad to see society and the internet come together to try to take down people, especially such positive leaders and role models. This is the part that jades me about the world. We'll never appreciate greatness until it's gone.
I've always found it funny that when you meet someone in person, they're always nice, cordial, warm. You know, in very rare occasions, somebody is like kind of aggressive when you meet them, right? However, on the internet, literally every single person that you come across is a demon. I don't know what accounts for that. I think some part of it has to do with anonymity, but I don't think that's all of it. I just think that it's really easy for people to just say awful things to people that they don't know or that they feel are so distant that they'll never, ever run into them. That's why I think that even if we remove anonymity from the internet, it's not going to solve this problem. I mean, you think somebody in America is going to give a shit if they see something awful to somebody in Australia that they know they're never going to see in their lives? And speaking of somebody awful I may end up seeing in my life because I live in the same city as him, Bryce Hall. He recently shared his thoughts on the fight that happened at one of his house parties.
He says he doesn't know me, but he's calling paparazzi on himself.
Exactly.
Selling the videos to paparazzi. Like, dude, that's the last thing I'm going to say on it. I don't care about that kid. I don't even know who he is.
A very rare turn of events. I kind of do agree with Bryce Hall on this one. I mean, the guy did call the paparazzi on himself so that he could talk about it and then say that he doesn't know who the hell Bryce Hall is. But at the end of the day, the responsibility is still with Bryce Hall. He is the internet celebrity. He's the guy who has everything to lose. So why the hell is he getting into fights in his own house parties? It's like he feels like he has something to prove. But every time he tries to prove something, things don't end up going his way. So maybe he should just relax on the trying to prove stuff and just take life as it is. I feel like it would be a lot less stressful on him. And speaking of Bryce Hall, the guy who knocked him out, Austin McBroom and his wife Catherine recently talked about her brand new solo YouTube channel.
I'm gonna be completely honest, the reason why I want to start this channel is because I have so much to say,
and that I can't say those things and I can't talk about these topics on this channel because it really just wouldn't make any sense, like being completely honest with you guys.
Now, I know a lot of people are probably celebrating, thinking, yes, Catherine is finally going to expose Austin on this brand new channel, video after video. But folks, let me throw some cold water on you right now. Based on the suggestions that she requested from her audience, it's going to be some esoteric stuff like numerology, quantum physics, butterfly effect. So unless Catherine sits down and pulls a card saying that Austin is a piece of shit, then it's not going to happen.
The platform that I'm currently using the most is actually Snapchat, and it's actually funny enough, that is the platform that people use the least, I think, now. And like, humbly speaking, like, I'm just saying, like, painting a picture and just saying what's true. I'm getting like an average of like 200 to 300 million views per month on my Snapchat.
Oh, what I wouldn't give to be a fly on the wall when the McBrooms decided to start a solo channel for Catherine. I feel like the conversation went a little something like this. Catherine, I'm being sued for $100 million. Austin, I'm being sued for tens of millions of dollars too. Honey, that doesn't even include all the other lawsuits I have. I know. How about you start a solo channel so we can pay for all these legal fees? Folks, they would never just decide to go forward with a decision that they've been putting off for literally the past 5 years just because right now is convenient. Anyway, folks, 6ix9ine, who can be seen here moments after finding out that Keemstar is trying to steal his snitch brand, recently said this about David Dobrik.
This video is gifting my mom $1 million worth of real estate, but I'm not going to use that title because I'm not David Dobrik. I'm not a pussy ass bitch. Yeah. That is a robot sheep bitch.
We all support that message.
Of course. Thank you.
Who is he, by the way?
He's a prick. Prick.
I mean, he sounds like one. David Dobrik.
I think this is the beef that David Dobrik has been looking for to end his career. Anyway, folks, going from one rat to another, Keemstar recently announced this on Twitter.
Just recorded frenemies next to Mom's Basement, only on Spotify.
You know, they say a picture's worth 1,000 words. Well, this picture's worth 1,000 regrets.
I'm not even going to front or try to be funny. This just really makes me sad.
I'm going to be honest, I'm pretty depressed too from looking at 3 30-year-olds who are dressed and acting like they're still in middle school. Anyway, folks, Ethan's parents also reacted to Trisha going on Keemstar's podcast.
What I'm feeling doesn't fit the words. She's such a weasel. Can't wait to go to her wedding. Not. In case anyone thought she had any self-respect left, please see above photo.
Looking at this objectively, I don't think Trisha has ever had any self-respect, folks. I mean, they are the person who married a cardboard cutout of Brad Pitt.
Normally I wouldn't even address these comments because, like, everyone's so quick to judge, like, oh my god, you went on Keemstar's podcast just assuming I'm Team Keem. I want to be Keem's friend. I'm on Keem's side.
No, I don't think anybody actually thinks that. I think most people are just extremely shocked that Trisha would go on a podcast hosted by a person who has said publicly numerous times that they have the worst of intentions against Trisha's future brother-in-law while wearing a frenemy's hoodie.
Podcasts are meant to be discussions and going back and forth with someone that you heavily disagree with, and this whole thing started with me coming for Keemstar's relationship, and I just thought talking about it on a bigger platform.
And there you go, folks. That's why Trisha wanted to go on this podcast less than a couple of months after saying that they couldn't stand Keemstar or even hear his name, that he was extremely triggering to them. But now it's all okay because of the clout.
I just like having discussions with people on podcasts.
You know who also loved to have discussions with people? Benedict Arnold. In fact, he loved to have discussions with other people so much he switched sides.
My going on Mom's Basement was not attacking Ethan. I had my own issue with Keemstar. I made the first video towards Keemstar. Ethan inserted himself in it, and his channel got banned. Keem did not do the strike on his channel.
That's bullshit. There's plenty of evidence that Keemstar messaged YouTube about the video, not only on Twitter, but he literally said in a video that he sent numerous emails to YouTube throughout the years tattling on Ethan.
Susan, Team YouTube, everybody at YouTube, why is it Keemstar versus H3H3 and YouTube staff? Explain that to me. Why is there blatant favoritism? I have the emails. I have all the proof to back it up. I have sent emails when he broke TOS saying, hey, look, he's doing the same thing that you threatened to kick me out of the partnership program.
The guy fucking confessed in video. He tagged the YouTube CEO. He said it in the video that he's been sending emails for who knows how long, tattling on Ethan for this whole situation. So that's a whole problem in and of itself. Now, people trying to say he didn't do it or that it's alleged, that's a whole separate problem because now they're just giving him a pass for doing something that he's been coming after Ethan for doing without any evidence of Ethan actually doing it for literally years, okay? So this is where it gets dicey. Is Trisha on Team Keemstar? Because right now she is literally defending him by saying that he didn't do it because it's pretty fucking obvious that Keemstar did it.
I have my own issues with Keem that I can talk about. Ethan lied to his huge fan base about me wanting to fire crew when that did not happen.
I mean, that's totally fine that Trisha has issues with Keemstar that they can talk about, but why the hell are they talking about Ethan right now? Ethan just called out Trisha for going on Keemstar's podcast, but they're bringing back all the stuff from Frenemies. Kind of wild how he circles back, huh?
Logan and KSI did a podcast together and got 10 million views. Me and Gabby did a podcast together and it was her most viewed pod. I think it's healthy to sit down and talk to a person.
Yeah, I disagree. Some conversations you just don't have to have. I mean, what the hell was the purpose of Donald Trump going over to North Korea and talking to the supreme leader of North Korea? Like, what objectively happened out of that conversation? Literally fucking nothing, okay? This is the same thing. Literally fucking nothing is going to come out of this situation outside of Keemstar feeling like he can dunk on Ethan just because Trisha, who's now supposed to be his family member, went on his podcast. That is literally all that's going to be remembered from this. Nobody's going to remember jack shit from anything else. It's just going to be another thing that Keemstar's going to use to rub on Ethan's face. And, I mean, if Trisha can't see that she's just a pawn in Keemstar's game in this situation, either they're really naive or they're just really thirsty for clout.
But I've always gone on people's podcasts. I need to stay relevant. That's how my job has worked.
I think most people are pissed off with this situation because throwing a family member under the bus, even if you don't like the family member and don't get along for whatever reasons, is not really something that people take lightly.
I have animosity in me still for Ethan, the way I do with David and Jason. Why? Because they can't admit they did something wrong.
You know, folks, Trisha made a whole bunch of TikToks that add up to over 20 minutes of them explaining why they felt like they had to go on Keemstar's podcast. And just right off the bat, if they felt like they had to explain that much, it shows where their heart is. And second, they should have just said that they have this animosity against Ethan and that's why they went. Trying to say that they just went for relevancy just makes it sound so much worse. That has to be the most petulant, childlike thing I've ever heard in my entire life. There are literally hundreds, if not thousands, of podcasts that are more relevant than Mom's Basement. Not even the people in this space, the target demographic for Mom's Basement, listen to Mom's Basement. I mean, one of their latest episodes where they discussed one of Keemstar's biggest controversies this year, his girlfriend, that episode re-uploaded to YouTube got literally 4,000 views. Nobody gives a flying fuck about Mom's Basement. It is literally irrelevant outside of Keemstar mentioning it on Drama Alert. Folks, I have people send me clips of things that they want me to cover all the time, literally 24/7. When I tell you that I have never received a single clip of Mom's Basement, nobody gives a flying fuck about this shit podcast.
He's constantly taking jabs at me. His parents talking about my weight. His parents saying I'm just like Gabby Hanna when he knows how triggering that is to me when I begged him not to. And he puts me in the same freaking thumbnail.
Well, I wonder how Trisha's going to feel as soon as they find out that as soon as they left, the Keemstar had Gabby Hanna on the podcast. So now not only are they in the same thumbnail, but they're now also in the same podcast. And for a little bit of time, they were in the same room that the other person was in. So, ooh.
Now the tweet again. This makes me sad. You haven't even seen the podcast. You don't even know what I said. Like, it's not even out. This isn't a personal attack. I'm my own person. And now I'm getting so much hate again. It's just, that to me is toxic bullying, harassment, taking use of your fan base. Like,
I mean, it's kind of hard to sympathize with Trisha getting hate after they go on Keemstar's podcast. I mean, they had to know that there was going to be a negative reaction from Ethan's side. If they didn't think that far, then maybe they should get somebody to help them out making these types of decisions on what podcast they go on, because that was literally like the most predictable thing in the world. Anyway, Trisha also responded to Ethan's mom's tweets.
She put blame and the weight of something so heavy on me that I have to wait this out now with it because of her. She's a vile scum. I cannot repeat. I can't even put out what she said. And when I asked Ethan, I'm like, your mom texted this? Like that's something that's like the nastiest thing I've ever heard from anybody.
Well, I guess things aren't going to get any better anytime soon. The holidays are going to be a little more awkward than usual. Going to have to stuff those stockings with a little bit of extra candy to sweeten things up. Anyway, folks, Keemstar celebrated this whole situation like a 12-year-old saying that he got a W. I mean, this guy's just such a fucking weirdo. I mean, who the fuck cares that you got the future sister-in-law of somebody that you deeply dislike to go on your podcast just so you can dunk on them. It's not like he's gonna make more money because of this, because nobody gives a fuck about his podcast. He told me on a phone call that he only makes money on Snapchat now, that his YouTube channel is basically not monetizable. He has a very hard time monetizing, and Snapchat is a dead platform. So, you know, hopefully he can somehow make money off of that. Nobody listens to his shit podcast. So, like, what's the W? Like, what the fuck are you celebrating? It's so weirdly competitive. You know, he called me once, and in one of these phone calls, he kind of showed me, like, how weirdly competitive he is, because he said on the phone call, he complained that I was posting too much on Twitter, and he, like, demanded that I post less stories on Twitter, and he specifically said that I should post less stories on Twitter because I was giving stories away to people so that they could make videos on it. And he complained specifically about Philip DeFranco and Scarce. He was so livid. He was so pissed. He, like, hates Philip DeFranco apparently, and was so angry that it was giving these stories away that other people were using. He also doesn't like Scarce. Trust me, he had no nice words to say about Scarce. But it was just so weird to me. I was like, you know what, dude? I think there's room for everybody in this business. Like, I don't feel that weirdly competitive that I'm gonna stop doing something that I feel like is working for me and that I enjoy doing just because you feel this weirdly competitive, that I'm, like, helping your competitors and my competitors. Like, honestly, I don't give a flying fuck. It's just so fucking weird. This guy's a fucking weirdo, okay? I mean, I don't even have to say it. Look at his face. He's, like, almost mid-40s. Throwing the finger up like this is something. Like, what the fuck did you win? You're just a fucking clown. You won literally nothing. You're like spreading misery as though that's a victory. It's just so fucking stupid. So fucking stupid. And anybody who, like, associates themselves to this guy, they're like, I mean, don't have to say anything about FaZe Banks. The guy's a lost cause. But, like, Trisha, Cloud Chaser, but anybody else who's, like, associating with him, like, you're in for a serious awakening very soon. Trust me. It's not going to take long before you see his true colors. Didn't take me long. Didn't even take a year. And now a palate cleanser.